Last night, the Browns got the win, but it ended in ugly fashion. Up 21-7 with 14 seconds left, Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph was driven to the ground by Myles Garrett after a pass, sparking a brawl in which Garrett ripped Rudolph's helmet off and hit him over the head with it. After the game, Baker Mayfield said what Garrett did was, quote, inexcusable. Marquise Pouncey, who was ejected for throwing punches and kicking Garrett, said that Garrett could have killed Rudolph. So, Shannon, what would you have said to Myles Garrett if you were his teammate?
Myles, was it worth it? You put us in a situation that moving forward, we're going to have to answer questions for you. And this could possibly be in the game that we turn the corner. No matter what you think of him, Skip, he's their best player. He's better than Chubb. He's better than Baker Mayfield. The defensive lineman, Myles Garrett, is the best Cleveland Brown player. And they're going to be playing without him for the very foreseeable future. And I'm like, bruh, was that worth it? Look, I'm going to support you because you a brother. We're a teammate. We go to war. But what you did was wrong. What you did is inexcusable. You put us in a bind, Myles. You put, for the first time since I've been here as your teammate, you put Myles in front of Cleveland. And it's unacceptable. So now, while you have your time away, you got to think about it, bro. How you want, because this is on your resume. It's not coming off. Now, you can do some things moving forward. Get that temper under control. Your emotions. You have to channel that. Because, see, once, Skip, your emotions, no matter how great you are, if your emotions take over you and you start hurting the team, you're no good to us. How does Myles Garrett? Yeah, we got Myles Garrett. We got a guy that got 10 sacks with 6 games to play, and he's sitting at home. Well, what's wrong with him? He injured? Nah. He did something dumb. So, Myles, bro, look, I'm sorry that that this happened to you, but I'm really sorry you put us in this bind. Myles, learn from this, bro. You better than this. I don't know what if you got something going on, you need to talk, bro. I'm always here for you. But this here is unacceptable here, bro. I can't ride with you on this one.
I hear everything you just said. And this brings me back to the most important player on the Cleveland Browns. You can argue he's not the best, but that's the quarterback. And the quarterback made a statement last night, live, right after the game, to Aaron Andrews on Fox that startled me in a good way. And if we could see it one more time, the Baker statement right after the game, this was not what I expected from Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield usually would stand up strongly for a teammate to the point that said teammate, here we go.
I didn't see why it started, but it's inexcusable. You know, I don't care, rivalry or not, we can't do that. That's kind of the history of, you know, what's been going on here lately, hurting yourself, and that's just endangering the other team. It's inexcusable. He knows that. I hope he does now. It's just, it's tough. We'll see.
So the quarterback said what you just said you would say, but he did it on live national TV moments after the incident.
Right.
And I was impressed.
Yes.
I was impressed with the way Baker played last night, not in the numbers because they weren't extraordinary.
No.
193 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, made 2 or 3 really good throws.
Missed bad on a couple.
Missed a couple. But guess what? In that one all-important category, he had a big 0. He didn't throw an interception.
Didn't turn it over.
Didn't turn it over one time. And I thought, all in all, he played clean, conservative football the way that you had to play to beat that defense. Because that defense will feast on you if you start coming apart.
Yes.
Minkah Fitzpatrick will take it the other way on you like that.
Yes.
And it didn't happen last night. So it became a pretty dominating performance by the Cleveland Browns. Maybe a turning point performance until that happened.
And that's what we should be talking about.
We should be, and we would be. Did Baker turn the corner? Because he was really good last year, and to your point, he has regressed so far this year. He had a big game against Lamar at Baltimore. So Freddie was torn up after the game because he was saying it's been forever since we beat Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the same season.
It is true.
Okay. Way to go.
Right.
and then way to go south, right? Because it's going to be hard to recover from this, given the fact you lost, probably for the rest of the year. We don't know that for sure. You lost your best defensive player, your best pass rusher, and the most important player on defense. Okay, so the schedule does ease up a bit. Just real quick, it goes Dolphins at home. Okay, maybe you can.
But Dolphins are playing better.
They are playing better. Then right away, week from Sunday, you got to go to the Steelers in 9 days. Could you beat that team? Listen, Mason Rudolph had a long, hard night last night. He did not look like the ongoing answer, right?
Yeah, he played awful.
Awful. To the point that all those people out there who were thinking, Ben, stay home.
Yeah,
I think
I said it earlier this week. I'm like, the Steelers might have a tough decision with Big Ben coming off elbow surgery. The way because he had played well, but then Skip, what they asked him to do was to win the game, because what the Browns did was shut down I guess when James Conner got hurt.
Well, that was a big loss.
And so now, Skip, you don't want that guy throwing 44 passes.
Yeah, he lost Juju right away,
Yeah.
and then he lost Deontay Johnson soon thereafter.
Right.
So he's down 3 important weapons,
Basically,
right?
yes.
So you got to cut him a little slack for that. But he lost his poise. He lost his presence. He just lost
Skip,
it.
some of the picks were horrible.
It was horrible.
I mean,
the one at the end of Schobert, he just threw it right to
he
Schobert.
threw it right to him.
I don't know what he's seen.
And then the one that he overthrew the receiver. I'm like, I mean, the tight end was wide open, and he threw it right to Burris.
Okay, so now will Pittsburgh go south off this after they had 2 big wins to sort of get back in the race? And so, again, Cleveland has to go to Pittsburgh. Then they get the Bengals at home, should be able to win that one. At Cardinals, again, they're dangerous, but should be there. Again, Cleveland's better than Arizona. Then the Ravens have to visit Cleveland, and Baker has beaten them. He beat them there last year, and now he's beating them at Baltimore. So maybe he kind of has their number. They don't seem to bother him or scare him. And then they finish at Bengals. Okay, my point is, if you get on a roll, you could finish pretty hot here.
Right.
And if you win all those, you go 10-6, and you just, I don't know. I don't know if you win the division.
But Skip, how do you generate pressure?
Okay. What could happen? I'm going to look at the glasses half full.
Okay.
I liked what Baker said when he said, this has sort of been the history of what's been going on here. Well, that's a little bit of a shot at the new head coach, that we have played nothing but undisciplined football. We're leading the league in penalties and penalty yards, leading the league now in ejections.
Right.
So he's taking a little bit of a shot at the head coach, saying, you did allow this to happen, and this is now it's gotten us in the worst way.
Right.
That the most undisciplined act of all has cost us our best defensive player. So my point is, will this be a rallying point for this team? It could be. Where everything starts to click, where everybody refocuses, where everybody says, we're not going to commit dumb penalties and false starts and personal fouls and unnecessary roughness penalties.
Right.
We're going to eliminate all that. And again, sometimes you lose a good player and everybody raises their game.
Well, they're going to have to.
Okay, because it looked like Morgan Burnett, it looked like he had an Achilles. That's what they've announced. So, again, he's a good player at safety for them.
And Skip, their DBs, they get some dumb penalties.
Yep.
I mean,
they're talented.
Yeah, they're talented. Ooh. But I just can't believe. I'm still thinking. I remember lying in my bed last night. I'm thinking, what the hell was Myles Garrett thinking? I mean, what would possess you to snatch the guy's helmet off and then club him over the head with it? Well, look at him. He was grabbing at his helmet. Okay. Okay, if you want to say what is necessary? What is necessary? So if you want to take it to that, look at what he was doing. There's something called necessary force.
Yep. Well, I'm telling you again, I'm going to say it one more time. Myles Garrett, extraordinarily talented, incredible physique, and a weight room warrior. He has spent 3 years trying to prove to the National Football League that an intellectual can also be a dominating football player.
Yes.
He can be a tough guy. He can, so to speak, eat glass on the football field. And that was another indication of his mindset going into every game is, I got to show him, I got to show him. And when he gets, in his eyes, shown up by the rival quarterback, he's going to do anything in his power to show everybody, I'm a tough guy. Well, that's not a tough guy. That's just a bully. You know, but he tries to turn himself into a bully on the football field.
Well, after the NFL put these games on him, and he get that letter from Mason Rudolph's attorney, I bet he won't ever do this again.
I would say you're exactly right. It'll be interesting to see where his career goes from here.
But, I mean, he can overcome his guilt. Because you know a guy who had problems like this, that had anger issues? Joe Green got the name Mean Joe for a reason. Everybody thinks of him as that guy, the football player skipping that Coca-Cola commercial.
That's true.
But he got the name Mean Joe. Just Google. You would never think that, but talking to him, you know, obviously being in the Hall of Fame and being around him, but I knew him before, you would never think he was like that, Skip. But he had issues like this. He snatched the guy's helmet, kicked the guy in the groin. He was a tough, you know what? But he changed all that. He's like, you know what? He cleaned it up, became, I think, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and arguably one of the greatest defensive linemen to ever play. So Myles Garrett can turn this around, but this is going to follow him forever. Now, where he goes from here, if he lets this define him, don't let this define you. This happened to you, but this doesn't have to define who you are.
What he does next is going to be big. But we are switching gears. Carmelo is back, but are the Blazers the right team?